Happy May! I'm Cater Tater. Welcome back. Plaid has been a clothing staple for several decades in America. I'm a fan of it, and I know a certain someone, shout out to, who wears plaid every single day. So I thought I would research a little bit into the history of plaid and how it's changed over the years. And I came to find that the way it was centuries ago is the way it still is today. We're still holding a little bit of the royalty prep plaid, and then we have the grungy, rebellious plaid. Let's explore. Come along, children. Come along. Plaid, as it turns out, is an old Scottish tradition that was used to distinguish the different clans of Scotland. So each had a different color, a different pattern and arrangement. It was representative of the Scottish culture. That wasn't even a Scottish accent. I thought, oh, it happened. No, I didn't. It was called tartan. T-A-R-T-A-N. It kind of came to Britain and then was just called plaid because it was an imitation. Obviously it didn't have any cultural meaning, we just wanted to wear their fashion because that's how it goes. They used it as fashion around the 1500s, and then there was this little scat between the English and the Scottish when there was a union, and then the Scottish rebelled. Then they outlawed plaid. Thanks. So for several decades it was against the law to wear plaid. Then it kind of came back in fashion, and at that point it was mostly for royalty, for the kings and queens and pompous asses who outlawed plaid in the first place. Plaid came in fashion in America in about the 1850s, and that was mainly due to one wool company called Woolrich Woolen Company. How would you have liked to work for them? Woolrich Woolen. Whoa. Yep, that would be the problem right there. Woolrich was known for their buffalo plaid, which is the very common red and black plaid that we see everywhere. There was also another company who was big in the plaid adaptation of America, and that was Pendleton. Pendleton had a mass-produced plaid shirt for men about 1924, and then they had a women's version a couple decades later, like 1949. This was made popular by the Beach Boys, so that's sort of the image you can have in your head while you're thinking of this. It really became common to wear plaid, not just for royalty, not for upper class, but for middle class America. Plaid became sort of a winter staple because of one town called Cedar Springs who would produce their own flannel during the winter and winter storms. And then by the 1970s, plaid took a little bit of a turn. It, one, got a little bit sexualized and was just prevalent in TV and movies, but it also got used a lot in interior design, like couch fabrics, wallpaper, I mean, the 70s, you can imagine. And as with the 1970s spirit, it was a little bit more carefree and rebellious. And then by the 1980s, it kind of became a little bit more preppy. So it's flipped a little bit. And then we get to the golden plaid era, the 1990s, grunge era. Oh yeah! Plaid was the symbol of the grunge movement. It was laid back, it was carefree again, dirty, messy, with the earth. Also in the 1990s, there were some people trying to keep plaid sort of mainstream and pristine, and there were collections like Marc Jacobs had a collection trying to make it look really nice. You can kind of imagine it was the Clueless, like the movie Clueless, that style, that skirt she had, the yellow and the top. They tried. And then we move on to the 2000s, where it continues to be used as both a symbol of rebellion and also a preppy look. Only our rebellious stage is kind of more hipster, so throwback, but it's all the same, you know. It's also pristine. You can see that sort of runway fashion. They still try to hold plaid as this sophisticated thing, which goes to show that it's still doing what it did all those years ago between the English and the Scottish. The English are taking it as their royal thing, and the Scottish have the rebellion stick, and they're like, this is us, we're real, you ain't fools. That was creative. Plaid continues to morph throughout the decades, and I can't wait to see where it goes, quite honestly.